Hey guys, welcome back to today's video where we are going to be installing some subframe collars to tighten up that rear subframe. If you didn't get to check out the last video where we pulled the R200 LSD out and swapped in a nice Tome, you can check it out here. I'll just drop a link. Okay, so this is what we have here, the GKTECH subframe collars. This is going to tighten up the rear end a lot. Let's have a look inside. Comes with some nice GKTECH stickers, as always. I always love their packaging. Now these are subframe collars that we're going to install. This one in particular goes to the body, basically to the chassis, and then this other one is for the bottom. Okay guys, so this is where we're going to be inserting those collars that I just showed you. We're going to be inserting one at the top, right up there. Right up there, we're going to be inserting one of those collars. 4 points for the subframe, and then there's going to be one that we're going to install at the bottom there. We do need to remove this support brace here, and also because I've been renewing the center in the diff, I've actually got it jacked up where the subframe is, so I'm going to actually have to jack it up again and remove that chassis stand. Basically what we're going to do is support the subframe with the jack, and then we're going to slide those collars in and install the collars, probably just one at a time. I've just sprayed a bit of WD-40 on all the bolts and nuts. We're going to remove these brackets here, 2 14s and I believe a 17 mil. So guys, we've removed the bracket now. I fixed the nut back on, probably about 5 threads or so. And then we'll move on to the other side. You just want to put the nut back on, thread it back on, maybe 5 turns, 3 or 4 turns. So this one's a little bit more tricky to get to. We've got to remove this brace here, a little extension here. It goes in nicely, just 17 mil. I'm gonna have to crack it by hand. I'll do the same to the other side. Okay, now at this point guys, I'm going to put the jack under the subframe just to support a bit, because that cross brace just up there, I really do need to remove the whole thing just up there, and that means that only the front will be supported. So I'm going to jack it up just to support it. There we go, that's the brace removed. Jack is just holding it up. If you've got your diff installed, you want to be jacking it up from the diff. I won't show you all of them, we'll just end up doing one together, but you get the idea. It's a fairly easy install. I'll do one, you've seen how I've lowered it, and you guys can do the rest at home if you're following along with this video. So you get the top one, basically just fits in above. And if you can't get it in, now's the time to lower it. Lower the subframe a bit. I'm just going to lower the jack slightly. Saw that drop there. Alright. And that just slides in. That's the top one, the top collar. Now for the bottom collar. You just push it in. Pretty much will just sit there by itself once you've pushed it in, and I'll do the same on the other side. Time to refit that brace. Now you might actually have to jack the subframe up to just get the nut on, as there's not enough thread for me to put the base on. Now moving on to the front ones, I've got the collar ready, And that'll just sit nicely now. Should be able to slide that in. Easy as. You may need to bring in the jack just to lift up the subframe a bit, like I have had to do. Simply just to take a little bit of pressure off so I can get that nut off. So now I can get that nut off. We can now grab the new bottom collar, push it in. Now, when fitting this bracket, it's a little bit awkward because you put the bracket on with the new collar here, right? You put it in. The problem is, the challenge is that you're left with little to no thread, so you have to jack this up a bit. Okay, hopefully guys, you can see now nice and clearly. I'll show you what I mean. You do run out of thread when you're trying to fit these to the front part of the subframe. And basically when you get the collar in and you go to install it, you run out of thread. So you need to jack it up. What I found the best way was, pretty much for me anyway, is just to get a little piece of wood on a jack and jack it up on the bracket itself. Now when you jack it up, you should have enough thread now to start the nut. Now that was the main issue that I was having, and if I remember correctly, I had the same issue on my 180SX years and years and years ago when I was doing this mod to the subframe. Now that the nuts started by like three or four threads, now we'll start to progressively do up the subframe completely, nice and evenly. So that's how you do the rear subframe collar install, and as you can see, I've actually got the diff back in along with the exhaust. Don't forget to tighten up that subframe, all 4 bolts plus the bracket bolts, tighten them to spec and you should be sweet. Bear in mind that when you do the subframe collar install, you will put the subframe a bit lower, which will actually mean that your body is just going to sit a little higher, so you will need to adjust your coilovers just down a bit. Not too hard to do, but just bear in mind that I'll show you a photo of what mine looks like in the back now. It is jacked up a little higher. I just need to adjust those coilovers down a little bit more just to sort of level things out. Guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to follow along with the S15 build behind me. We're making great progress and we are going drifting soon. I can't wait. Have a good one. Stay safe. Peace out.